Hello everyone, Mayank is with us. So I'll quickly introduce Mayank and then we will start our discussion with Mayank. So this is another episode of Cracked It, real stories, real insights and real inspirations. We have Mayank with me who is right now working as a strategy consultant in PwC India in automotive practice. He is an MBA from IIM Bangalore and he was working with Maruti Suzuki earlier. So maybe I'll not give too much of introduction of Mayank. I'll directly start with Mayank only. So Mayank, thank you so much first of all for sharing your journey, and I'm sure that is going to be a very inspirational for a lot of us. Could you start with maybe giving a brief about your product, about your profile?
So thank you so much for having me here, sir. So I am a mechanical engineer from Hurt and an automotive enthusiast from my engineering days only. So I've graduated in 2017 and I joined Maruti Suzuki after graduation. In Maruti Suzuki, I was in core operations. So it was a journey of close to 7 years, uh, and most of the time I've spent at the intersection of operations and digital transformation, basically. So it was quite new to me, a 21-year-old graduate entering into a huge automotive plant and taking care of the responsibility of in charge of an individual plant. So those were learning days for me. It started with the Maruti Suzuki, and then I spent a lot of time on shop floor, understood the processes, how the value chain is running from start of the product from scratch to the customer end, how we are connecting it to the customer end. So it was a great learning platform for me for the initial years. Then as I grew to the ladder, I become assistant manager and then deputy manager. So I was assigned some responsibilities for some bigger projects like some digital transformation of the shop floor, of the manufacturing operations, and some new facility enhancement, capacity enhancement in Maruti Suzuki. And since we know that Maruti Suzuki produces a huge volume, we all know it's number one automotive manufacturer in India. So the job was of great responsibility, and so there was a lot of learning that came along with those responsibility. Although I learned a lot from my peers, from my seniors, and from my juniors as well. So it was a big group with which I was working. During those projects only, I realized that I was quite good at problem solving. And in shop floor, there was a lot of days on which I'm facing a lot of problems. Those problems might come in any of the forms, some change management, some technical, some operation related problems. So I thought my day-to-day job was involved in problem solving only, and that directed me towards a journey that I can become a consultant and I can help others as well. And that's when I decided, after a span of like 6 years in Maruti Suzuki, I decided to enter into consulting. uh, Now, to enter into consulting, the best way was to get into an MBA and get some structured business knowledge, because I have to connect my operations knowledge with some structured business knowledge to enter into consulting. So that's when I decided, after completion of 6 years in Maruti Suzuki, so I have to do an MBA. Then, as similar to a lot of aspirants, I also targeted some of the colleges, India's best colleges like IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, ISB. So, and during that span, since I was like 6 years into corporate, so 1 year MBA was the best platform for me. And I thought I was little bit late for 2 year MBA. So, and 1 year MBA was a best thing that I could go for. So I started my preparation for GMAT, and I took guidance from a lot of peers and seniors who was already into this MBA journey. That helped me a lot. Although it was not that much easy, GMAT preparation was quite tough. uh, Picking books after like 6 years was very much difficult, and considering a hectic job role in Maruti Suzuki. But I took it as a challenge. It took me several attempts into GMAT, but finally I cracked it. And then I started my preparations for these IIM interviews. And these IIM interviews are also not piece of cake. That GMAT preparation was like 20 to 30% only of the whole journey. So then again, I took a lot of inspiration, a lot of preparations, uh, online, offline, from my peers and all, for the interview journey of the IIMs. It went very well. and then I got admitted from IIM Bangalore and Calcutta. I considered a lot of factors before joining IIM Bangalore. Finally, I joined IIM Bangalore, and then it was a very different and transformative journey for me. I completed my 1 year MBA there, took a lot of learning with me, and then as I dreamed about entering into consulting, I entered into consulting after finishing my MBA, and I continued my automotive journey there as well. I joined automotive practice of PwC, and it's been like 1 year into consulting now, and it's again not even a single day went without solving some problems, without having some challenges, without having some stress, I would say pressure from the client facing role. So it's been a challenging role so far, and I would be very happy to share my experiences and journey with you, and with I would like to help a lot of aspirants who are currently preparing for the consulting role.
Great. Thank you so much. It was very detailed, Mayank. Although you have already mentioned some of the things, which maybe I'll prompt you again, but since you talked about a lot of challenges and doubts, maybe before MBA and even during MBA, if you have to pick out one or two most pressing challenges or doubts which you had to overcome, either before MBA, during MBA, or post MBA, right now you are in, you need to pick one or two, what would be those?
Yeah, so the very first thing was what kind of MBA I wanted to do. Like there were a lot of options on my plate, like 2 year MBA, 1 year full-time MBA, some part-time MBA, or I could go for outside India universities as well, because GMAT was giving me that option as well. So I considered a lot of factors. Like I was already having an experience of 6 years, and these 6 years of experience was giving me an edge above a lot of people. So I decided to pursue 1 year MBA, because the average experience required in India for 1 year MBA was around 4 to 5 years in most of the colleges. Like IIM Ahmedabad asked for 4 years, Bangalore was asking for 5 years, and ISB 2 years. So that's how I decided I should go for 1 year MBA, considering the ROI in my mind, the time that I will spend without job, and the learnings that I wanted for me, so that I can enter into my desired field, that was consulting. There was a decision to pursue an MBA from outside India as well, but I decided to stay within India, to pursue MBA within India, so that I could stay with my family as well, and considering the future growth aspects as well. So there were a lot of factors, considering financial and personal as well. So I decided to pursue 1 year MBA. Now, those were some decision-making things. Second challenge was to crack GMAT. That was one of the biggest hurdle that I was pursuing at that time, because I was away from studies from a very long period. Like most of the time when people went to MBA, they go for 2 year MBA and they just resign after like 2 to 3 years of experience. So they were quite fresh, and they were like little bit in touch with the preparations. But in my case, I was like 6 years, so there was a huge gap. So I have to cover that gap, and it was a big hurdle for me, considering my job role and all. So that was one of the biggest challenge for me at that time. But with proper preparations and with proper strategy, I was able to overcome that factor, that challenge as well.
Got it. Very interesting, because I think and a lot of people can relate to it. Even I can relate to this. So even my GMAT preparation was also very difficult, I would say. Any specific thing, trick, tips, strategy which you adopted for your GMAT preparation, which you think you can share and maybe other people can also get benefited?
Sure, there were a lot of strategies I would say that I have followed. Now the GMAT pattern has been changed. The people who will give GMAT now, they will give the GMAT Focus Edition, but I gave the older version, the original version. So GMAT is an exam which tests your patience, in the preparations and in the exam as well. So whenever you're preparing for GMAT, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It was a 3.5 hours of exam. So your mind has to be ready to sit continuously in the exam hall for at least 4 hours. so that in the actual exam you can sit and your mind should be fresh and be ready to attempt the last question as well. And since it's an adaptive exam, so the difficulty level of the exam keeps on increasing whenever you're giving the right answers. So it's good for us, but it becomes difficult for us as well at the same time. So during my preparations, I've realized that you have to be continuous. You cannot leave GMAT prep even for 4 or 5 days as well, because a 1 week gap in your GMAT preparation will take you 1 month behind. I learned one of my seniors gave me this advice, and I kept this advice along with me. I saw this whenever I'm leaving my GMAT prep for any of the reasons, for even 2 or 3 days or 1 week, I was like 1 month behind my preparations. So you have to be continuous, and I would say perseverance and patience. These are the two things that you have to keep with yourself in that particular exam. That will help you to basically build your mind muscles stronger. Apart from that, you have to practice a lot, and I would say whichever section you are feeling difficult, practice that section a lot. I face a lot of difficulty in RC section, reading comprehension. So I realized that I don't have to just do a lot of questions on RC. There should be some other practices in my day-to-day life which I have to follow to solve those RC questions. So my senior advised me to read a lot. So I started reading. I started reading with half an hour a day, and then I was reading to up to 3 hours a day. So I picked a lot of things which helped me in two directions. First one in mastering the comprehension part. Second thing in getting some knowledge as well. So that helped me during my interviews. So I started with some of the articles. There is a website called FinShots. So that FinShots give you like a 10 minutes or 9 to 10 minutes reading of an article, and the English that has been used in FinShots is very accurate for the GMAT prep as well. So it gives me the capability to continuously read a long article, to comprehend it, and then some financial knowledge as well, which later helped me during my interviews. So I used to follow FinShots. I used to read Mint newspaper, the Hindu newspaper as well. I used to read some articles from McKinsey Digital. So since I have done a lot of digital transformation projects, and these McKinsey, they publishes a lot of very good articles in terms of digital domain. So I used to read a lot of McKinsey articles, a lot of InShots articles, a lot of newspapers, and I increased my reading time from 30 minutes a day to close to 3 hours a day. Definitely, specifically for the GMAT prep, and it helped me. It resulted very good when I was improving in my mocks. So I could see the results. So
Great.
that was one of the tips that I would like to give to every GMAT aspirant.
Now that's very important, as you said, right? That one is, patience, right? 4 hours exam itself takes toll, and you have to be always alert, because whenever you're saying you're attempting a question, the next question will be, you want it to be difficult because it's adaptive. It's adaptive, this thing. Great. Another question is in terms of you got into MBA, right? From the perspective of your MBA experience, what do you think? If you can tell me one example or one course or one professor which kind of had the most effect on you, and what was that effect? Which you can say kind of transformed you in some way.
So when I entered into MBA, it was quite eye-opening for me. So every professor gave us a very eye-opening kind of lectures. So the knowledge or the mindset that I was carrying before MBA was completely transformed, or almost like 80 to 90% transformed when I attended the lectures from strategy, lecture from microeconomics. If you're asking for one specific professor, I would say Mr. Chetan Subramaniam. He's one of the greatest professor, one of the greatest teacher I have ever met. So he showed us the macroeconomics picture in a very simple or in a very clear way that I could have never imagined. So I was not a fan of economics at all, but when I attended his lectures, and I took his elective also, so he explained the things in a very clear way, in a very structured way. The way he delivers the lecture, it was very engaging. You can never skip even 10 seconds you cannot never take your eyes off from him or from the screen whenever he is speaking. So he basically transformed the thinking. Right now, there is a newspaper called Mint. So I read that a lot. So if you are not a student of Chetan Subramani, I would say it would be very difficult for you to understand the Mint because now I know how government is working, how economics work at the micro level, at the macro level, and how each and every decision that the government is taking is important from what kind of angle. Now I understand why finance minister is increasing the tax and why a lot of GST reforms are taking place. So he is a person that developed interest in economics for a lot of students, I would say. Like, not even, I would not find a single student who will say that Mr. Chetan Subramaniam is not at par level. So he is, I would say, if you are attending IIM Bangalore, and if you're not attending Mr. Chetan's class, so it is very unfortunate for you. So for all people who are attending IIM Bangalore this year or later on, so you have to take his electives definitely.
I think we should tag him in this post also. Okay, great. But that's a great point, and I think what you told is very true, right? A professor and Professor Chetan's, of course, that engagement you will never forget. The way he would deliver, right? That's a great point. Another point is in terms of once you started preparing for your consulting, right? You might have faced some challenges and everything. The two parts to this question. One is maybe one specific challenge which you faced when you were preparing for consulting interviews, and is there any turning point in your preparation which kind of changed or kind of gave you that crystal clarity? Okay, this is what I have to do, or which changed your preparation totally?
Yeah, so I would say to enter into consulting or to prepare for consulting, it's not a 1 month or 2 month task. It starts the moment you enter into MBA. So the structured thinking, the problem solving ability to design some of the frameworks, it comes naturally when you attend these lectures. So a lot of problem solving attitude will come from the strategy side, like how you are strategizing the problem, how you are understanding how a firm is making a profit. So it started from there only. So it's not a 1 month job, I would say. It's a continuous journey which started in the very first month of MBA. But you have to be specific you have to be like precise in your preparation. And there are a few key things I would like to mention. One thing is the mock interviews. So you have to be very habitual to give mock interviews. I see a lot of people, they don't give mock interviews as well. So that mock interview basically helps us to prepare for the environment, that particular environment in which a lot of questions will come on your face. You have to basically strategize a problem, strategize a scenario for a firm, or to identify the key problem that a firm is facing. And that will come naturally only when you are giving a lot of mock interviews. I'm not saying that you have to give so much, but you have to give a sufficient amount of mock interviews along with the peers only, or if you're able to basically arrange some mock interviews from the seniors as well, that would be very helpful. I was fortunate to find some of the seniors that gave me some time for those kind of mock interviews. So mock interviews is one thing. Second thing is mock interview would be in two steps. One would be your resume based and one would be totally case based. So for those case based interview, you have to study some of the frameworks. And here comes the key point. You don't have to memorize those frameworks. You have to understand those frameworks in a way that whenever a new scenario is coming in front of you, you can devise your own framework. And one of the key thing that recruiters likes is if you are able to connect those frameworks along with your past experience as well. So for example, I was coming from operations and I was coming from a Japanese firm, Maruti Suzuki. So in Maruti Suzuki, we follow a lot of practices that was devised from Suzuki or the Japanese practices. So what I used to do, I used to connect those Japanese philosophies along with some case study, some problem solving frameworks, and I devised my new framework, my own framework, so that it won't look mechanical. Whenever a recruiter is taking your case interview, it should not look mechanical. It should come naturally. And this advice, I would say, it also came from one of my seniors only. So that helped me a lot. So basically we used to practice in a group of 3 or 4, and it was very fruitful for me and for my peers as well. uh, so that was one of the key thing that helped me a lot for the consulting interviews.
Got it, got it. It's very interesting, innovative steps you said. I mean, could you give me one maybe quick example of how maybe you can use one of the, let's say, Japanese way of problem solving and some framework? Is there any maybe intuition to it that?
Yeah. So I would like to quote an example. In operations, whenever problem come, so we used to do root cause analysis for that problem, RCA. For that root cause analysis, we have to identify from where this problem could generate. What could be the possible factors? So there is a thing in operations called 4M: man, material, method, and machine. So we used to categorize all the possible causes into these 4 categories. So this used to this used to simplify the problem solving approach. So if you are facing a particular problem, for example, a particular rejections or the quality defects are very high in a particular plant, so we will basically categorize all the possible causes in these 4 categories. So all the causes coming from the man side, or from the material side, or from the machine side, or the method side. So this was one of the method or framework we used to follow in Maruti Suzuki, and I connected this with my problem solving or the case frameworks that was already in the syllabus or the curriculum, I would say. So this was one of the key things that I think recruiters likes a lot. Basically, they wanted to see how practical you are whenever you are approaching a problem, and this thing shows that I am connecting my practical experience, my past experience. I'm not just following the books or the case books that all ABC and ISB. I'm not following all the case book only. I'm connecting my experience as well with them. So this thing helped me a lot.
I think that's very valuable also. I mean, I always tell people you can only differentiate yourself when you add your own perspectives or your own knowledge to whatever is being taught. That's where you can actually differentiate you. That's a very important advice. I think this we should definitely stress to everyone, that you have to have that kind of differentiation.
Exactly.
Yes. Great. Now, moving on to a bit more technical points, maybe a couple of things on resumes and interviews. What do you think worked in terms of your resume? What maybe project or phrases or keywords, or what strategy help you to get shortlisted by, let's say, consulting firm PwC?
Okay, so from the resume side, I always wanted to enter into consulting, and consulting recruiters wanted to see the problem solving approach. So you have to be very clear in all the key points or the CV points, either in the career summary or in the experience sections. All those CV points should reflect your problem solving approach. We have to follow a general rule of STAR. That's a very basic for the resume preparation, and each and every point should show some sort of problem solving approach. Like, this was the problem, this was the situation, this was the task assigned to you, this was the action that you have taken, and this much was the result. So you have to prepare each and every point in the STAR format, and all those points, not also, at least 80 to 90% points should reflect your problem solving approach. That would be the one thing. Second thing would be, if you are approaching for example, I wanted to enter into operations consulting because I was coming from the operations background, or I have to keep my operations point on top, the points which are showing the operations experience or the problem solving experience on top, because recruiter will not spend a lot of time. Recruiter, if it is automated screening, so first of all, you have to be very specific about the keywords that are asked in the JD. It should be reflected in your CV as well. You don't have to forcefully fit all the keywords, but it should come naturally. That, for example, a JD is for automotive consultant, so you should show your automotive experience, your problem solving, your operations experience, your root cause analysis kind of experience, or if you have done some projects. So those projects should clearly show that this person belongs from this operations background, would be very suitable if I will put them into this particular role. So there should be at least 60 to 70% of fitment, I would say, for the beginning, from JD and your CV. Second thing would be the keywords. Those keywords should properly match, because if it is automated screening, you would be out of the process if you haven't included those important keywords. So those keywords should be highlighted very clearly. Again, I would say not mechanically, but it should come naturally. Third thing would be, there are some hygiene that you have to maintain while preparing the CV. So those hygiene points should be followed like a Bible. So I would like to mention some of the key points, like there should be very minimum white space in your CV points. All the points, try to keep all the point in like one line, because recruiter won't spend a lot of time on reading. They would like read 3 or 4 points from each of your work experience, and they would take the decision very quickly. So all the points should be like in one line or 22 to 26 words. It's a very hygiene, and you should focus more on those points. You should keep those points on top, which are very important from the JD point of view. So these are the key things that you have to keep in mind to get yourself shortlisted. It's a very it's a very basic step, but it is very important step, because if you're not getting shortlisted, so you won't be able to give the interview as well. So first step is very important.
Exactly. And see what happens, sometimes I see hundreds of people, right? They ignore these basic stuff. They think that this is simple, this is basic, but when you implement it, right, that time you need to keep all this in mind, because I see a lot of people miss that, and hence even when they deserve the job, right, sometimes they get this thing. Moving on to the kind of interview interview part of it, any specific question, case, any interesting question or case or tough question or case which you encountered during the interviews, and how did you handle it?
Yeah, so my interview was in 2 parts. So it was one was for the resume side. So they were basically verifying whatever I have written in my CV, whether it is right or not. And their way, or any recruiter's way, to verify the CV point is basically to go 2 or 3 layers deeper. So if I have mentioned, like I have done a 90 million rupees of saving, so they asked me, okay, tell me the calculation for this 90 million, and they went very deep into that calculation. So I have to be very thorough about each and every word whatever I have written in my CV point. So for example, from where that calculation is coming, what is the basic concept or the basic building block of that calculation. So he asked me everything. So for example, in one of the keywords I have written data analytics. So he went very deep into the data analytics part. So at what level you know about data analytics, at what level you have used analytics in your experience. So he went very deep into Excel. I have mentioned some regression. So he went very deep. Okay, what is the meaning of R square? What is the correct value of R square for a particular model and all? So you have to be very thorough. You cannot just write each and every word in your CV. Be ready. Recruiter can pick any of the word from all those hundreds and thousands of words in your CV, and he can ask a long question on that particular point. So be thorough with your CV, I would say, for each and every point. So that was one part. Another part was case based. So they asked me 2 cases. One, and both the cases were obviously from the operations and the automotive background. So one case was basically to improve the productivity of a particular manufacturing plant, and another case was basically product sales, related to product sales. So you have to launch a new vehicle, so prepare a GTM strategy for that. So you have to be ready for okay, I was expecting operations kind of case, but suddenly a GTM case came to me. So since I am coming from MBA, so I cannot say no to GTM, although it's not a part of operations, but yeah, you have to be ready for that. So the case was both operations based and the business side, both the side. So there was 2 rounds, and both the rounds were quite similar. One was the MD level and one was the partner level, and both of them asked in a similar way. They just verified my CV. They asked me some they challenged me on few points as well. So that challenging was turned into grilling. So but we have to be ready for the grilling part as well. So we don't have to lose our patience. We don't have to be scared whenever an interviewer is grilling you, because they are just checking your patience. They are just checking the faithfulness that you have showed in your CV. So were
Just
few scenarios.
maybe drilling down to this, one more question. So, which question you think was the most difficult one for you, and what are the specific things you? Because see, lot of people ask us, right, that what is the what is the approach to deal with a question which you're not aware of,
Exactly.
right? Or it's very kind of a googly to you. So, in your case, what could be that question or that case, and what was your reaction, and how did you manage it, or how did you kind of dealt with that kind of problem?
Okay. So the CV based questions I thought are quite easy because you have worked on your CV. You have actually worked for like 5 to 6 years or 7 years. You can answer them very well. You just have to structure them in a particular way and you can answer them very well. So CV based questions are not difficult. The difficult one were the case based because to enter into consulting, you have to master the case solving approach. They just wanted to see like the 60 to 70% of the interview in interview they will focus on your case solving ability. So I would say the case interviews were quite difficult for me because I was not ready for the scenarios like you have to prepare a GTM for Ola's new model, or they have asked me a question like Ola is going into D2C. Ola is into D2C. So, but a lot of automotive companies are not into D2C. So, how do you think will it be a good step for Ola, or what are your views, both on the negative and the positive sides? So, tell me the pros and cons. So, that questions came to me, and I was not ready for that kind of questions. So, the general approach to deal with such kind of questions is to take some time, ask for some time. So they are also not in a hurry. They also know that it would be new to you. So I ask for like 2 minutes, like give me 2 minutes of time to structure my thoughts. So then I noted all the thoughts that came to my mind. So that is one of the very, I would say, useful and the important thing you have to do in a case interview. Whenever a question is coming to you, don't rush towards the answer. Think slowly, take your time, ask for the time, note down all the points on a piece of paper, jot down all the points, then and ask some counter questions as well, some clarifying question I would say. Most of the times we are in a pressure that we didn't get the question properly, and we have to re-ask the question. So, and they are basically ready to help you. Case interview is not a one side interview. It's a conversational kind of interview. So they are ready to guide you as well. A good recruiter will definitely guide you. So ask for the time, jot down all the points, and then do a conversation with him. So that's how I approached towards them. And in case interview, I would say don't rush towards the answer. You have to focus on the approach. They don't need an answer from you. They already know the answer. They just wanted to see your approach. So a mistake I would say a lot of students do this mistake. Whenever they are hearing these questions, they just rush to the answer and they will start giving solutions. So the moment you will start giving solutions, you are rejected by the recruiter. So mark my words, you have to follow the approach. You have to show them, okay, this would be my approach. Am I right or wrong? Ask them the questions continuously. Make it conversational. So that's how you can engage with the interviewer, and you can reach towards the solution. In the end, they would listen to a solution, but they want to see your journey, how you are reaching towards the solution, and that journey would be the deciding factor whether you are passing through the interview or not.
Yeah, I'm sure, because that is very important. Like the way we approach any interview is like a question and answer. There's a question, we need to answer it.
Yeah.
But specifically in consulting, it has evolved and it should evolve, because there's no right answer as such. The approach is right, and then answer will definitely be right, or that's what a recruiter will be relating to more.
And I would like to quote this. I would like to say one more thing. I experienced this thing in my actual experience this year as well. So I am working on a currently on a project. So when I started in my initial months, so a problem came to me and I gave solutions directly. So and then my partner explained me that this is not the correct approach. Then I recalled my learning that how I prepared for these interviews and all. Then I restructured my thoughts. Then I went step by step. So answer would be like, I might be at step 6, but you don't have to jump directly at step 6. You have to go with step 1, 2, 3, and that would be the approach every time.
You makes sense. specifically in big tickets decision making, right? See, sometimes you also know that the client which is on the other side, he's or she is much more experienced than you, and they know the answer, they know what to be done. But how do you approach there, right? How do you implement that? That approach is very important. One question on that. Now we are on the side when you are already, let's say, has spent some time on consulting. What do you think was the one of the biggest myth you had, or people have generally before joining the consulting, which can get busted when you actually are in consulting?
Yeah, I would say a lot of myth would be busted when you enter into consulting. One myth I would say that I was carrying with me, like all the consulting companies would be having some specific frameworks and or case studies, and whenever a problem will come to you, you will just use that framework and that problem would be solved. So that was one myth that I was carrying with me, and that got busted in the very first month. So it won't be like this. In few of the cases, I would say, in just 10 to 20% cases, you will face such kind of situations. Like there would be a specific framework that you have to follow, and the problem would be solved. But in most of the cases, the problem would be new to you, new not just to you, for the whole team. So you have to use your experience. You have to do a lot of discussions, a lot of brainstorming, and then you have to follow that step-by-step approach. And again, it would be a two-way communication from the client side and from your side. You cannot just look at the problem and jump to the solutions or the approach directly. So that is one of the myths, I would say. There's no framework that would be served to you on a plate and then you can directly solve the problem. Every problem would be new to you. You have to think a lot, you have to brainstorm a lot, you have to use your connects, because this is the advantage of this 1 year MBA, I would say, because we are coming from with the experience of like 5 to 6 years average, 7 years or 8 years sometimes. So we have to use our connects as well. Sometimes they are waiting for your connects. The firm is waiting for your connect. That's why they have hired you, because you are, for example, I'm bringing like 7 years of Maruti Suzuki experience, so I'm bringing those 7 years of connects as well. So that would be very helpful when you will solve a problem. So your peer network will also help you. Like for example, if one of your peer in working in some firm and you came to know about okay, this problem could be solved, so you will call your friend, okay, I'm facing this problem, what should I do, or what you are doing at your end. So that is also one of the things that this peer network will help you.
No, makes sense. Even the myth you talked about is very important, that people should know. That people think that consulting means you have some ready-made tools or frameworks and they're just applying it, but it's so much of an organic brainstorming work, so much of a problem solving goes there in identifying this thing. One quick question in terms of, see, a lot of people I mean, how much AI knowledge is required or not required to, or if it is required, to what level it is required?
So AI knowledge, I would say, you have to be thorough with a few of the AI tools. Like right now, a lot of tools are in market, like Claude or ChatGPT. In MBA, we used to use these tools for assignment making or some data analysis kind of stuff. Here, if you are habitual of these tools, it would make your life a lot easier. Because, for example, if you are working on a research kind of project, you need to get the crux out of a 40-page document, I would say. So you need to know how to prompt that particular model to get the important ones. Because if you are just prompting and randomly, it will give you random results, or sometimes it will hallucinate also. So you have to know basic level of prompt engineering, I would say. That will help you to give correct prompt to generate correct answers. Or sometimes for problem solving as well, if you're facing a very new problem and you don't know which areas you have to look in, so you can definitely use these AI models. And again, I would say a good prompting would be required to get some good answers. So prompt engineering is one of the things that I think every MBA graduate should know about. even if you're not very much into this AI, not an issue. But prompt engineering is one thing that you can keep with you. It would help you in many ways. If you, for example, if you have to type a mail, you don't have to spend a lot of time in writing that mail body. You just can enter your keywords, your thoughts, and the AI would write a mail for you. So it would be a time saver for you, because you have to prioritize things here. Consulting is a very high stressed or high time consuming job. You have to spend, like, on an average, I would say 12 hours, 11 to 12 hours in a day. So you have to decide how effectively, how smartly you have to spend those 12 hours, because if you're not doing that, those 12 hours will convert into 16 hours. So whatever the repetitive task that you can cut, that you can basically use AI for that. This data crunching, some data analysis kind of thing, some mail typing, or some, even in the PPTs as well, you can use AI for PPT making. Not completely, but some sort of thought could arise from the AI. So basic level of AI will definitely help you if you are coming into consulting.
Great. Thank you so much, Mayank. Maybe one last question before we end our discussion. It has been already a very super insightful discussion with you, and I've made a lot of notes. Maybe I'll just check with you whether I've heard it correctly or not. But before that, just one question, last question. See, this is more of an advice from you, or what is your mantra for those people who might feel that they're stuck in their career, or who might feel that they wanted to do something else in their career for whatever reason, right? What would be your mantra, your maybe 2 cents to them?
Yeah, so I would like to quote a line, and it might bring a smile on your face as well when I will quote this line. So I have heard this in a lecture. If you don't know which sport you want to play, so build your stamina.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's a very simple line, but I am keeping this line with me. So if you
Yes.
don't know where you want to go in your career, so build your stamina, develop those key skills that are actively selling in the market. Make yourself proficient with Gen AI. Make yourself proficient with a lot of tools. You can learn a lot of tools which might help you in future. So for example, if you want to enter into some analytics kind of role, and you haven't done some Python course, so you can enter into a Python course, a 1 month or 2 month Python course. It won't hamper you. Time will anyway pass away, but that you can utilize that time in learning those skills. So learning those skills would build your stamina for that particular interview, for that particular role that might come to you, maybe after 3 months, maybe after 4 months. You don't know right now, but if you are preparing for that, it would be very helpful on that day of interview. So
Yeah. No. I think that's that's an excellent quote. So I think that's very important also, because see what happens. What I am seeing or observing is a lot of people are stuck, and more than that, they are not able to take any action. Right. I think irrespective of, once definitely take some clarity, talk to people, take guidance for people, but till the time you're not clear, at least keep working on some of the things, so that they will add to your profile, and they will actually, once you start doing things, even if it is in the wrong direction, you'll get more clarity, and
exactly.
you will be better. And as you said, right, anyways time is passing, so you do something or you not do something, both is a strategy. You're doing something is a strategy, you're not doing something itself is a strategy. So that's a great point. And Mayank, thank you so much. We have discussed a lot actually, and first I'm just summarizing what we discussed, and then we'll maybe end this session. So first we kind of got your introduction, that you worked in operations in Maruti Suzuki, and then what kind of challenges did you face, and you talked about how did you manage your time, your consistency towards your preparation for GMAT, sitting for long hours, reading more, from let's say 30 minutes to ultimately you went towards 3 hours a day that you used to read in FinShots, and some of the articles you suggested in terms of McKinsey Digital. In that you can read a lot. Then we also talked about professor, what did you really liked, and one of the thing which you really liked, and which was for Professor Chetan Subramaniam, right, where he used to teach you macroeconomics, and it was so engaging that it really gave you a very good understanding of economics. And then we discussed about how do you prepare for your consulting, case practices, resume practices, knowing everything in your resume, even if it is a small keyword which you have written and might have forget. But
Yeah.
definitely you need to you need to prepare for that, because they are going to verify and check each and every point in some sense. And then we talked about case practices, and one important, very important, I would say, one of the takeaway for me is an example of how would you use your prior knowledge, club it with your new learnings of MBA or wherever, whatever you're learning, and hence use it for your future problem solving. I think that's the most important thing. Every recruiter is in some way looking at it, and it's a great advice that you've given. One of the, good example which I would be definitely reusing others at a lot of places, right? Then we talked about how do you prepare your resume. You kind of focused on problem solving skill, prioritizing those things which are relevant for the JD. Definitely not saying that including everything in whatever is written in the JD, but definitely those things which you have, and prioritizing them, right? So that's what we discussed. And then we discussed some cases which you got, like GTM cases, productivity cases, and how do you suggested that when you are not sure about a problem, how do you approach it? It's not about just answering the question, it's about taking the time, showcasing your approach, right? And then some myths which we talked about consulting, which you had posted about. It's not that consulting organization have their own ready-made framework and they will apply to the problem. They have to go through an organic process of problem solving and then come up with something which is actually useful for the company. And then we talked about prompt engineering is important, and the most important thing which we kind of which kind of applies to a lot of us is, whenever you're feeling stuck, you have to do something. You have to, even if you're not sure, if you're sure, great, you work towards it, take action. But even if you're not sure about it, at least start building on your muscles on whatever is required in the market, so that at least you have those skills which are anyways required for this thing. So this was super useful, Mayank, and it's very inspirational also. Great to see your journey, right? From an operations kind of automotive background to a consulting background, and solving a more strategic problem for the clients. So that's great to see you, and I think we would be in touch a lot, right, in future. And be in touch whenever I am visiting Delhi. Let's meet up sometime.
Definitely.
Yes. Thank you so much, and it was a very exhausting for you. It was very long for you, so thank you so much for that also. Thanks for your patience.
And thank you so much for you also for having me here.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye.